So we're back. 9:23 is the time. Hey, if you ever find yourself feeling stuck or maybe a little overwhelmed, it can be hard, but try to remember that you're not alone. It is easy to lose sight of the one thing that truly matters, and that is your purpose.
And entrepreneur and keynote speaker Amanda Brinkman is here to help us connect the dots to find living your purpose. Amanda is here to tell us more about a big event that is coming up as well. Amanda, good morning. So good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah. Tell us about living with purpose. You've been on Minnesota Live before. You've shared kind of what you do with us. But I think it's really important what you do. And as mentioned, I think it's kind of easy in the day-to-day struggles of life to kind of lose track of that and lose focus on that.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I think since the beginning of time, I think human beings have wondered about things like purpose and meaning and why am I here and what am I meant to do with this one life that I've been blessed with. And I myself have been voraciously researching the concept of purpose and how it shows up in our work and in our lives for the last 4 years. And I've found some things that definitely make me feel better and make me feel like I can live in my purpose. But I found some things that I think we've kind of gotten wrong about the concept of purpose. And so the Purpose Pursuit is all about helping me kind of share those things with other people, because I think we all do wonder about it.
One of the things that I was reading that you talk about is really sharing your own experiences. Tell us why that's so important for people. Well,
I think when we think about anything that we've gone through, everything, whether it's a trauma or a joy or a win, all of these things form who we are. They form the narrative and the stories we tell ourselves. They form our perspectives and how we see the world. And oftentimes we actually have an opportunity to give purpose even to our pain. And when we think about the concept of even mentorship, there's incredible purpose in using what we have learned in life to help those who are coming up behind us. Maybe something that we struggled with in the past, we've learned some lessons, and those encouragements or those lessons can be helpful to someone else who might be struggling with the same thing.
And you have an event coming up, and you're really focusing on mentorship this year.
Yeah, so the Purpose Pursuit it's a keynote that I give at companies and conferences. It's an online course, but every year I have a live event where I share my last year's research, whatever I've been thinking about for the past 12 months, what I've been hearing and learning about and really even wrestling with. And mentorship kept showing up as a way in which we can truly feel like we are living in our purpose. And so this year's theme is mentorship, and it'll be September 24th at the Guthrie Theater.
Now, mentorship, when you talk about it and you think through it, what makes it just so important? Because I think every one of us has had somebody in our life that has been like, this is sort of the path that you want to lay out and see what, it's important.
Absolutely. Well, okay, there's actual science behind the fact that our brains shift over time actually into a place of mentorship. When we're younger, there's something called fluid intelligence. It's the hustle, it's the growth, it's the building years, and whether there's a family or a career, we're just kind of going, and we kind of have that hustle nature to it. Over time, our brains actually change the way they work, and we move into more of what's called crystallized intelligence, which is more about connecting dots and experiences and, again, wins, traumas, things like that, to be able to kind of form wisdom and form lessons learned. And so it is actually natural later in life, especially in midlife, to start moving from a place of kind of that growth mindset to more of one of wisdom and sharing. But if you
that makes sense.
don't know that science, you kind of think in midlife you've lost your mojo. Like, why are the things that used to drive me, why are the same things that I used to find energizing about my career or my life not moving me in the same way? But if you understand the science behind the fact that our brains are actually meant to work from a place of mentorship, we're meant to be elders, we're meant to pass that on, then you suddenly see purpose in that. You see that you can have meaning in moving into that place rather than resisting the change.
I'm going to ask you about this because I ask you about it every time you come on, but I do think that people feel this way. Like when you think like, what is my purpose? That can feel very daunting and very big, and like, if I don't know it, maybe I've failed.
Yeah.
But our purpose can change, right? And I think that that's kind of what you talk about too, is your purpose at 20 is probably going to be different than your purpose at 30. And so it's not like you found it and now go live it the rest of your life. It's adapting, it's recognizing the change in your life and that your purpose is changing.
You're exactly right. I think we really have to pay attention to the seasons of our life and what those are asking of us. But I think you're right. It's not about one purpose or finding it. That's one of the things I do think we've gotten wrong about purpose. Everywhere you see the word purpose, you always see the word finding used right in front of it as a verb, implying that you don't yet have it and that you need to
Makes you feel like a
find
failure.
it. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we've gotten wrong about it. We think about it as this thing that we don't yet have that we have to find, whereas I think we should think about it as this thing we live in. So instead of giving it this giant capital P purpose that's out there when I retire or start a nonprofit, how can I have a lowercase p to my purpose? How is it about thin slicing my life, moment to moment, interaction to interaction, mentee to mentee? Like, how can I pass that on? And when you suddenly see purpose as something you can live in rather than find, then you see purpose in every day.
I think one of the things that you can help people in finding their purposes just by talking to them, sharing with them, because every little thing is something that someone remembers. My mentor and I sat down at a conference in a hallway and wrote down my career path on a napkin. And I still remember that.
Absolutely.
You know, he spent that time with me. And then years later, he ran back into me and he's like, you did it. You did it from a napkin. You know, and it doesn't take a lot, but it's some of those little small conversations with people that you can look back and go, this is how we remember, and this is how you find purpose with people.
And he had purpose in that exact moment, and had he missed that moment and been thinking he needs to find his purpose somewhere, he would have missed this opportunity to have an incredible impact and influence on you, and then look at all the lives you've touched through your work. And so that's what I'm talking about. I think if we can see right in front of us that every moment is an opportunity to be actually in service to the person in front of you, with the experiences that you have, with the superpowers you possess, with who you are in your perspective. If you can see it as an opportunity, again, to live in service to that person, you can have purpose in every moment.
All right, Amanda, your event, September 24th.
September 24th.
Guthrie Theater.
Yes.
1:30 to 5:30.
Yes.
Tickets still available, but going fast.
They're going very fast. And it's a great event to bring a friend to, bring a mentor, bring a mentee, bring a group of girlfriends, bring colleagues, bring your team. It's really great to experience it with other people, and then afterwards, reflect on what you've learned and the discussions. And it's a really inspiring afternoon. I give a brand new talk. We have a beautiful connection break, and then I interview a surprise guest on the concept of mentor, and it's a really good one this year.
And at the Guthrie too. What a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Such a treat
can't
to have
wait.
you back again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck with the event. We have all the information you need so that you can get tickets on our website, minnesotalive.com.